right, MMA Today for tomorrow, episode 3. Today we got the big king, MMA King. On Twitter, at MMA King, right? Am I right?
MMA_Kings, yep.
Okay, MMA_Kings. The big dog with the big news, the fresh releases. You know, I call him the fisherman of the MMA world. Because
That's a new one. I haven't got that one yet.
That's the fisherman. You be catching and releasing right there, right? So
I try my best.
yeah. And then we got Big Tone, the big boss. He's like the guy on Street Fighter that you have to fight at the end. He's the big boss.
I don't know about that.
No, but yeah, man, it's good to talk to you guys. It's good to have a new face,
Sure.
new perspectives. But the first thing, let's get into it. Cowboy and Darren Till.
I feel like you needed to introduce yourself though, like because you like introduced us, but you didn't introduce yourself.
Oh, me.
Asian correspondent, Trisha.
I like to call myself your local Asian. Like, you know, like if you need some Asian advice, if you want to know about Asian shit, you could just ask me. You know, I'll tell you everything you need to know, unedited. But yeah, I just do all the Asian shit. You know what I mean? Road FC, one championship.
Cup noodles.
Yeah, a couple noodles, you know, Ryzen, all that shit. Like, if you need to know, I probably will know that shit. So, you know, top ramens and shit like that, right? With the tuna fish inside of it, you know?
I don't know about that.
Hey, that's an Asian. See? You don't know. Because I'm your local Asian. I will tell you shit like that. Like, top ramen with the tuna fish inside, okay? But, now, with Darren Till and Cowboy, right? What do you guys think? I thought Cowboy was going to win, and I was fucking wrong. And I'll admit it, that Cowboy, he looks like he's becoming the Takanori Gomi of the welterweight division.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I go that far quite yet, but yeah, I think Till looked great. Cerrone, man, you know, there's certain fights he comes out and he looks like that. I mean, the RDA fight was very similar. Looks very, you know, hesitant to throw anything, kind of backpedaling. As soon as he gets hit, you know, he kind of crumples. Very similar game plan, I think, that Till used in this fight. I'm honestly kind of surprised that fighters haven't used this more going forward. I think, you know, Cerrone has showed this time and time again, and Till executed an awesome game plan. I think if it had gone to the later rounds, you know, Darren's gas tank would not have held up as well as Cowboy's, and I think it was a perfectly executed game plan by Darren.
What do you think?
Well, like, I mean, we talked about it on the last podcast, but I gave a bunch of reasons why I thought Till, you know, had a really good chance, and then I followed that up with, but it's still Cowboy, you know, fucking Cerrone out there. But like I said in the last podcast, man, he's been knocked around. He came into this fight and was knocked around by not only by Masvidal but Lawler. Clipped him pretty hard, and you know he doesn't take time off really, so he came in this fight, and he's always struggled with southpaws too, and that was another thing, and pressure fighters, which is two things that Darren Till is, and he just got dismantled basically, and he looks like he needs to take a good amount of time off, like at least I don't want to see him until like the middle of 2018, but he probably won't stay away for that long.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a 6-month suspension now, apparently. So we'll see if that.
You know those. I mean, but I wouldn't go as far as what Jon was saying. But gatekeeper, are we seeing gatekeeper status?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he might be that gatekeeper to the top, you know, 12 or so. I think that's a pretty reasonable assessment at this point.
Yeah, I thought Cowboy, you know, in my opinion, because I didn't really know much about Darren Till, like most people. You know, that if you don't follow the European scene and like in detail, or if you don't follow those types of fighters, you don't really catch them, because Till, he had a good performance in his last fight, but before that, he was deep inside the prelims, right? Most of the time. So if you're not watching Fight Pass, if you're not watching the whole card, you don't really know his level of skill. And me, I'll admit it, like I didn't know that he was a championship like Muay Thai fighter. I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like that was something new to me. And when I found out, and then when he got into the cage and you saw him next to Cowboy, just massive.
That was the other thing we talked about was like Cowboy just hitting that ceiling at welterweight, because he's not, I mean, while he is tall, he's not exactly, I don't know how to say it, filled out, I guess, for 170. I mean, he looks small compared to these real welterweights. Like he's just not one of those guys, I don't think.
Now, do you guys think there's any chance that he moves back down? I know I saw some suggestion of that. I don't think that he's going to do that. I think he'll stay at 170, but not the worst time to think about it.
Well, I think he
jump up and down.
I think that he's at the point of his career where he's not chasing any titles, and he's not going to get any titles. And he's not going to get any title shots because he's had all the shots that he's, warranted, right? So at lightweight. So for me, he's just going to go for the fun fights. They're just going to put him in fun fights, like fights that fans want to see, fights that will, let Cowboy shine. You know what I mean? So they could keep him around, because I don't think they want to like release him or, push him off or, anything like that. So who do you think would be a good fight in the welterweight division? Like a fun fight for Cowboy, not a top 10 guy, because he's already shown that when he faces the top 10 guys, they just demolish him. So what do you think it would be?
That's a tough one. I'll let you go first, Tone. I feel like you have a name on your mind.
Platinum.
That's exactly who I was going to say, too. I thought Mike Perry would be a good one. Now that he's not ranked, he got bumped out of the rankings by Darren Till. Maybe that's the unranked opponent that you're looking for.
Yeah, the Platinum is he's the dark horse, if you really think about it. Because if in the Alan Joe fight, Alan Joe had a very good game plan, and he picked them apart, right? But I think Platinum is a different fighter from that fight right now.
Yeah, he's on another level athletically than a lot of these guys are. The way to go from not having any clinch game to having a clinch game and using it to like knock guys out in the matter of the 6 months or whatever is just insane. But those things I don't think he'd really be able to use. I don't know. With Cerrone, it would be just a crazy fight. It seemed like they were kind of pushing the Till fight, and I feel like that's a bad matchup for Platinum because like we were talking about, Till is an excellent grappler in the clinch, Muay Thai background, and he would negate some of that. And then also Perry doesn't like to be kept on the end of a jab, and as we saw with Joe Ban, what Joe Ban did to him was keep him at the end of the jab and at length, and Perry wasn't able to deal with that. Maybe that's something he's worked on, but I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more there. I think that Mike's one of those guys that as you move down the weight classes, you don't see it as much, but he almost kind of reminds me of a heavyweight in terms of his power. He has so much power at that weight class that even like the Ponzinibbio fight that's coming up, for example. I think Santiago's a much better fighter. I think he's one of the best fighters in that division. I wouldn't be surprised if he competes for a belt at some point. But I think that Mike is just one of those guys you could put against anybody, and he would make it a good fight, and he'd make it an exciting fight because he can end it at any time.
Yeah, that Ponzinibbio fight, that's an interesting fight right there, because both those guys just throw bombs, and it's like it's a toss-up basically. Whoever lands first, whoever hurts the other guy first. That the Ponzinibbio fight, the last one, right, where he poked what's his name?
Nelson.
Nelson.
Gunner.
Like 15 times in the eye, right? Almost gave him the Michael Bisping treatment, right? So
the UK people were so salty.
Yeah, but in that fight, I don't think it really mattered. Yeah, the eye pokes are eye pokes, but that fool, he launched some fucking hammers on his head to where he was drunk. You know what I mean? Like bad, like just stumbling all over the place. So, and Gunnar Nelson knows. I think deep down inside, he knows that he was fucked up. So I don't think he really disputes it too much. But going back to the Darren Till. Let's go back to Darren Till because we're like jumping all the way over to Ponzinibbio. I think that's my fault. But
Yeah. The UFC preview coming up already.
Yeah. But Till, who does he fight next? I think going after Mike Perry, that's kind of stupid. Why are you going down?
Yeah. I think it's a step backwards. I have to look at the rankings again, but it seems like a lot of those guys that I would pair him up with next are tied up right now. Ponzinibbio would be a guy I would tie him up that I would match him up with. Kamaru Usman is another guy. He's fighting Emil Meek. I don't necessarily think that's the best matchup matchmaking wise, but I think I'd stay away from the Platinum fight for now. Maybe if they sometime down the road the next year that would make some sense, but not right now.
You know who would be a perfect opponent for Till to catapult him into maybe even a title shot fast if they want to go back to your
GSP?
No. If they want to go back to Europe, Carlos Conduit. He's sitting there right in the middle of the rankings. I think he's ranked like number 6. He doesn't have a fight. Does he have a fight?
Yeah, he's fighting in the rankings.
Yeah, that's Yeah, why is he in the rankings?
There was someone sent me a screenshot of the people that vote on the rankings, and like I feel like the MMA community is like pretty tight knit, and we're a pretty small like group, honestly. And everybody kind of knows each other, even if we don't like each other or maybe we don't get along. At least we can like recognize each other and respect their opinion. And then I get sent a screenshot of the people that vote on the UFC rankings. I don't fucking recognize a single person on there. And I did like just a little bit of background searching, just enough to like figure it out. And it's like radio hosts that don't even focus on MMA. They talk about like basketball and like just random crap. I'm like, how did this happen? And that's how you wind up with, these rankings that just don't make any sense if you're wondering why they're all over the fucking place.
Yeah, the rankings don't help at all. Yes, it's good for the poster. It's good for like the promo. But really, if you're watching, if you watch fighting, if you watch the UFC or any fucking promotion, I think it's more of the UFC that the rankings don't mean shit, and people put too much, emphasis on the rankings. And like you just said, no one even knows who the fuck is voting for the rankings. It's not like it's the top fucking. It's not like what is it? I think it's Sports Illustrated. They used to do rankings, right, for other sports, and it was like all the top writers from the biggest newspapers and all that shit, right? And you know who the fuck they are.
It should be like an all-star. I mean, I don't want to refer to the media as all-stars, but you know what I mean. Like, it should be like you should be able to look at the list and be like, okay, like, yeah, boom, boom, boom. These guys, like, prominent MMA.
I'm looking at it right now, and the only MMA websites that I recognize on there are MMA Weekly and MMA Oddsbreaker are the only two.
Yep. That's the same thing I noticed. Yep.
Local papers, or you got the KHON Honolulu, which is like their like local news station. Like, I'm sure if I look at that, I know who they have as number 1 pound for pound fighter. Like some local Brazilian websites, stuff like that. So. Yeah, I don't know.
The Mount Rushmore Weekly Post, the sports writer for the Mount Rushmore Weekly Post.
The Cherokee Scout newspaper. I don't even know what that is.
See, he's not making those up either. He's really like reading those from a list.
I know.
Burbank leader.
It's just, like another thing that you could fucking look at the rankings too is like whenever there's a big fight coming up, all of a sudden the rankings change. And they let's give an example of when Demetrius Johnson was set to fight that dude, what's his name from Jackson's, the last fight.
Ray Borg.
Ray Borg was ranked, I think, number. I don't even know if he was in the top 10. Maybe he was 9 or something.
He was 9. Yeah, he was.
And then he jumped to number 3 or 4 before the fight or when they announced the fight. So I don't know, like, who does that? Like, are these people from the fucking Mount Rushmore Weekly Post? Like, they know that Ray Borg is so much good and he became so much better in a month or something? I don't understand.
That's the stuff that really doesn't make sense to me. You'll look and there'll be it won't even be UFC fights that week, and there'll be like all these people shifting up and down, and I don't know, man. It just doesn't make much sense. Another good example, like you were just talking about, I remember when Conor McGregor got announced to fight Dennis Siver. When that fight announcement was made, Dennis Siver was not ranked. And then by the time that the fight rolled around, Dennis Siver was like right on the outside of the top 10. So like you said, I think that just people talk about it so much that they get themselves into a tizzy thinking that these guys are better than they are, kind of revisionist history going on. And just another problem with those rankings.
It's just promo. It's all about the promotion.
But while we're on the subject, while we're on the subject of media, how about this Jon Jones non-news that's been circling around?
Yeah.
I think it just goes pretty much in line with everything else that's going on right now. Just getting the headlines in there and not really having much substance. And you get the retweets and people click on your article and they just skim it and exit out and you make money. And I think it just goes right in line with everything else I know we've talked about before.
But is there something more sinister? I mean, I don't want to say sinister, but is there something, worse at work? Is it Malky, Jon Jones' PR team, trying to get basically spread confusion, I guess, is what it seems like, about the whole situation and make it murky. You see it in the comments a lot, on the articles, on Twitter, on social media. And it's like, and it's fans, there's just something that doesn't seem right about this. Like the stuff doesn't add up. And that's because there's so much misinformation being put out there. Jon Jones passed his test, that his blood test, but he didn't pass his piss test. And now he's passing tests like months after his failed test. And somehow that clears him, just crazy stuff.
Yeah, like you said, that I remember the blood test, piss test thing was a big one for me because I was like, oh, that is kind of weird. But then you read into it and you're like, well, it can't be detected that way. So yeah, like you said, there's a lot of just kind of weird, sideways information that's getting really thrown out there with no context. And hopefully, I'm hoping people are going to be smart enough to see through it. But as we know, that's not always the case.
Well, do you think it's malicious or do you think it's just ignorant?
It's hard for me to tell. I think it definitely is a little bit of ignorance. Malicious wise, I'm not really sure, man. I'd have to kind of see how things play out from here to be able to determine that. But definitely, I think ignorance is a big factor into it.
Well, the Jon Jones fucking he got busted, man. Like, there's no fucking getting around that. What fucking piss test, blood test, whatever the fuck it was, he got fucking busted. And, and fucking testing him after he got busted, who gives a fuck, man, about him getting tested after he got busted? He got fucking busted. Like, right. Are you going to keep doing the drugs if you're trying to, like, piece back your image that you want to have for the fucking MMA community? Are you going to continue doing steroids? Of course not, man. Are you fucking retarded? If Jon Jones is fucking retarded, he would have kept doing, and he doesn't even have a fight. You know what I mean? Like, who fucking would keep doing steroids if they don't even have a fight, if they don't have nothing? It doesn't make any sense. This fucking people putting up news about that shit, that's fucking retarded. It's fueling into the fucking conspiracies that, people are creating on the message boards, in the comments on Facebook, on Twitter, and all that shit. All the Jon Jones haters, they're on one side, and all the fucking Jon Jones lovers are on the other side, and they just take what they want to take, and then they use that to fight each other continuously. And that's all it is. And these sites that are putting this shit up, they're fucking trash, man. That's what it is.
Hey, couldn't agree more, man.
Like, with the... See, I just want to know, if it's a PR move, if it's being like a narrative that's being controlled, or if it's, just straight out, we don't understand this, like, drugs are bad, like, USADA did something wrong. I don't know. The conspiracy theories are a little crazy. Like, I've seen, and I can't tell when people are joking or not, but I've seen people literally, like, say, Daniel Cormier mess with the sample, Like, what?
Yeah, no. Jon Jones, one of his coaches, Frank Lester, used to be in the UFC. He came out and said that he thought that he had been poisoned or whatever. So I agree with you in that sense. Like, I think the people that are putting out this information clearly have their own motives behind it. I think obviously somebody is, for that type of information, somebody's putting that out there. expecting to get a reaction and turn people to believe something that may or may not be true. So in that regard, yeah, for sure, there could be some malicious intent behind it.
Yo, I'm all about second chances, man. Like, I'm all about that. But Jon Jones fucked up too many motherfucking times.
Yeah.
And
We're
then
not on
all
the
this
second.
bullshit about, come on, man. Like,
We're
who
on,
he
like, the
was
third-
poisoned and shit. What is this fucking James Bond and shit? What the
Yeah.
fuck, man?
We're on like the 5th. Like, I don't even know. I feel like I lost count because he's
Yeah, I
messed up
think
so many
we're on
times.
the 5th, 3rd chance that we've given him.
Yeah, something like that. It's too much.
Hey, you know what's the funniest is those John Bones Jones like ride or die motherfuckers online. Like they're like, oh, anything that comes out against Jon Jones, they're just messaging about. They just want to turn their hate to like the guy that's like another fighter that's saying something about him, right? So now let's segue, like you segue to this. Let's segue to the Kane shit. Let's segue to the Kane shit, right? Like Kane, he was here in Korea last week. He did a media scrum, you know. Your boy was there. He recorded it.
Making headlines.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, Kane said,
Made a lot of headlines.
like, it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. But then, you know, like I was reading a lot of the comments and people's opinions about what Kane said. And, you know, a lot of people, the haters will, you know, the Jon Jones haters will agree with Kane. But then motherfuckers that read what or they listened to the interview or the scrum is they were picking apart what Kane was saying. And then they were putting up some, you know, decent arguments about Kane. Like Kane has only fought once in so many years. And like since USADA came in, Kane has not been the same Kane, right? And then, you know, like, let me read to you the exact parts.
You can make the same argument, that same exact argument for GSP, who was championing, you know, more testing, and then as soon as more testing came, he pieced out, and then he pops back up with the big old. They call it. I'm not saying he's a cheater. This is just the term that people use. The steroid gut.
Yeah,
you know, where
yeah.
your gut just like protrudes out weirdly.
But you got a six pack.
Muscles. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. The bodybuilder shit.
Yeah, and he comes back with that shit, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? Like, so I mean, and that's all just like speculation, because none of that shit is based in facts. It's just, you know, trying to figure something out, you know. So I'm not gonna say like Kane cheated or anything, but it's
yeah, I'm not saying Kane cheated, but this is what the people were focusing on. Kane quote, this is in quotes. We learn how to train and train right, to go out there and be competitive, right? That's what people are picking apart, because Kane, he's always fucking injured and shit, right? So people are like, motherfucker, you don't know how to train, right? You're fucking always injured. You got your back all fucked up, your neck's all fucked up, your head's all fucked up. I don't know what the fuck is fucked up, but that was funny to me. Like, they didn't really focus on, like, Jon Jones. They wanted to turn all their fucking attention to what Kane was saying about training, because he's injured right now, right? So
it's the big joke, AKA, and injuries.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, AK is known for injuries, right? But
yeah, you think that would be the last thing you'd want to bring up, but I guess not.
yeah, and even like with him, he was also talking about Mark Hunt, right? You know how Mark Hunt, he got pulled from his fight.
What did he say about Mark Hunt?
He said that I asked him, like, you know, what do you think about Mark Hunt getting pulled? And he's like, oh, you know, I was in the same situation, and I think that what he said was, I think that we're educating the public that, you know, fighters are, you know, they're injured. There's always something wrong with us and all this. You know, he was just going into that part. He didn't really mention like the head trauma or nothing like that. He was just talking about educating the public about fighters' problems.
Says those things about, you know, he's already feeling the effects of CTE.
Yeah, he didn't talk about that.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
Well, was he like just referencing it?
He wasn't even. Yeah, I think he was just referencing it, but he didn't really say it out directly. You know, he didn't say it. It didn't come out of his mouth, but he was just saying that we're educating the public. And I think that from what his comments were, I think that he was saying, I think that he misconstrued what Mark Hunt was saying. I don't know if he understood exactly what Mark Hunt was talking about with his comments. So it was kind of a weird answer when he responded to that question. He just was talking. The thing that got about it is he was educating the public, or the UFC is educating the public. You know, because he's not gonna bash the UFC. Come on,
No,
man. You're on the UFC promotional tour. You're not gonna go through the promotional tour and bash the.
definitely one of the faces that they like to tout out there.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's like, to be honest with you, Kane is a good, in a way, a good role model for a lot of the young up and coming fighters, except for being injured all the time. You know, he's a 2-time UFC fighter or UFC heavyweight champion and shit. So it is what it is. All right, now we're gonna get into UFC Fight Night 119 in Sao Paulo, Brazil, coming up this weekend.
UFC Sao Paulo.
What is it?
AKA UFC Sao Paulo.
Yes.
Now you got me fucking it up.
AKA a fantastic card, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
We'll just call it that. Fantastic card. Yes.
That fantastic card, Brazil. I like it.
Hey, the main event and co-main event is like some sick ass fights right here, no doubt.
Up and down the card. I mean, John Lineker, I think, is kicking off the main card. Can't complain when that's the case on free TV.
For real.
And Trinaldo versus Jim Miller. That's another
Great
good one. This is
Font Munoz should be pretty legit.
Did you see the thing about John Lineker? They said 6 dudes turned down that fight. 6
I believe it. I believe it.
Probably all were offered to fight him at the same time too. I wouldn't step in there. Jeez. Yeah,
John Lineker, he's a scary dude even at bantamweight. Like I always wanted to see him fight Mighty Mouse. That's the fight that I always wanted because Lineker could put out Mighty Mouse. That could happen. Like that's how much power. Lineker is like the Mike Perry of the bantamweight division. You know, like he's the dark horse. You know, like
all violent team, as we like to call it.
He is the all violent team. When he faced TJ Dillashaw, like TJ Dillashaw worked him pretty good, like technically. But if one of those punches landed clean, he would have took out TJ Dillashaw too. It would have happened. So what do you guys think about this matchup against Vera? Because Vera's a pretty big bantamweight.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he was fighting at featherweight for a while. I think, I give Cheeto all the props in the world. This is the 3rd time he's coming into a fight as a big underdog in enemy territory. And, he's a game guy for sure. But I just think that, this is a big step up from a Brian Kelleher or from a Brad Pickett. I think that, Lineker is going to be able to, Cheeto kind of opens himself up for body shots, stuff like that. So, as much as I appreciate what Vera's doing, I think it doesn't change the fact that I think Lineker's one of the best in the world, and he'll show that on Saturday night.
What is your prediction?
I think Lineker will get him out inside 2.
Oh, inside 2? What about you, Tone? What you think about Vera's skills stacked up against Lineker?
I don't think they really stack up. I think he has tremendous heart, though. I mean, he showed it in his last 2 fights with I think they were both 3rd-round comebacks where he was losing the fight and then managed to get that sub. I think it was no, that's not right. One of them was
the Kelleher one was the 1st round. I think it was pretty quick, and then the Pickett one was definitely a comeback.
Okay, I'm getting them all confused now. Then I have the wrong guy. Anyway, I don't think that really. I mean, Lineker is up there as far as athletes go, and then also just punching power. He's a little undersized for 135, but that's kind of the price you pay for having that much muscle mass and whatnot. So I would say inside of 1.5 rounds. I'll one up Nolan and say 1.5 rounds.
Just had to do that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I say that like you guys were just mentioning, that Vera is a slow starter, and he does come back and win fights. I'd say Lineker takes him out in 1 minute. Like the first minute. I think Lineker comes out, throws bombs.
It's one up in both of us at this point.
Bombs. And Nolan, you said the guy is open to body shots, and Lineker gets in there tight and starts swinging those body shots, it's gonna hurt him bad, and it's gonna open up his head, and his head's gonna be clean for the fucking hammer shot to the dome.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
for sure. And we've seen Lineker integrate a lot of good body shots in his past fights and in flurries. So watch out.
for real. I say Lineker. We all go with Lineker.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vera. You know. But
Respect.
Lineker is coming up, man. I'll support Lineker, even though didn't he have some kind of like troubles before? Lineker, is that him?
I'm not sure about that.
Missing weight.
There was that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the rest of the extra curricular stuff, but
Maybe that's a different John. I don't know. There's too many Johns out there, right?
Really?
Fuck them all.
Maybe it was you.
Maybe it was me. Maybe I was in some troubles and I was looking in the mirror and I forgot it was me. I don't know. But now the next fight after that is a middleweight fight between Thiago Santos versus Jack Hermansson. I like this fight. To me, this fight could be fight of the night because they both can stand and bang.
Yeah, well, Hermansson's more of like a I don't even know if this is such a thing, but like a ground and pound TKO artist. I don't even know, but he likes to take guys down and just beat on them. Santos much more of a he's really up there, high up there on the I cannot talk tonight. Muay Thai, rankings as far as just straight skill in that department. And on the feet, I think he outmatches Hermansson. But if Hermansson gets the takedown, man, it's going to be rough. It definitely has fight of the night written. Both the fights that we've talked about so far have fight of the night written all over them. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And like Santos, I feel like at this point he should have been a title contender, and it just really hasn't gotten there for some reason. Every time he does, something happens. I mean,
Musas took him out. Musas. When he fought Musasi, that kind of killed everything for him.
For sure. And that brings up an interesting point because the other time that he got derailed was against Eric Spicely, and those were two fights that both hit the ground and then they ended pretty quickly. So to Tone's point, if Hermansson can get him down, it will definitely, especially if the fight goes on a little bit, Santos has a solid gas tank, I think, for a guy that throws that much power, but I think Jack probably has a better gas tank. And if it hits the ground, it could make things very interesting.
With Hermansson, he's so linky. Santos is linky, but I think Hermansson is taller and longer, which makes it very interesting to where Santos wants to keep his distance and hit from the outside, but the guy he's fighting is longer and taller than him, so it could kind of give him trouble. But Santos, he puts hands on people, so it doesn't really matter like what your body looks like. Hermansson, I think he could take out Santos on the feet. I think he has that capability. He does go down with the ground and pound and all that stuff, but he might get caught into sitting there and throwing back and forth with Santos, and that's why I believe that this will be fight of the night. I think Hermansson will end up falling in love with standing and banging with Santos and just going at it like that. You know what I mean?
Think if he tries to stand and bang with Santos, he's getting put to sleep, honestly.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Tone on that. I think that, Hermansson does have a weird style, which, he's one of the guys that's in that category where you can't necessarily, think that all of his opponents are going to view him in a cookie cutter way just because of his odd movements and things like that. But I think if he comes out and just tries to strike with him, I think it would end up poorly. But that's not being said that he couldn't catch him or something. I think they're both great strikers. And my prediction officially, I'm going to say Santos. I'm going to say by decision. I'm going to defy the odds and say this one actually goes the distance.
What do you think, Tom?
Santos late finish, like third round.
I'm gonna go with the European assassin. Hermansson goes into enemy territory.
Is that really his nickname?
Huh?
Is that really his nickname?
No, I just put that there because he's from Europe. But anyway, that's his new name. Let's start that shit. The European assassin. He only fights in Brazil. But I think I'll take Hermansson. I think I'll take the underdog because Hermanson is the underdog, right?
Hermanson is actually the favorite. I looked
Oh,
this
he
morning.
is. Okay, then
Slight
I'm
favorite.
taking the favorite.
Yeah.
I say Hermanson takes him out on the feet and chokes him out on the ground. Like, he hurts him on the feet, chokes him out on the ground. I see that happening. Next fight.
Oh, just one. If we're talking about betting, real quick, the fight before the Lineker and Vera fight, I think Vera to win by submission is something insane, like plus 700, plus 800. So
Oh, for real?
yeah, that's something to look into if you like gambling.
And he's one of those 10th planet dudes, right?
He is a Team Oyama guy, I believe. I don't know if he goes with 10th Planet too, but
high level jiu-jitsu. I don't know what team he's with though.
right.
All right, now the next one is Jim Miller. And who hates Jim Miller? Nobody hates Jim Miller, right? But he's taking on Francisco Trinaldo, the guy that looks like he's 80, but he's 26.
I think you got that mixed up. I think he's 39.
Trinaldo is? Is he really
Yeah.
old?
Yeah,
I think maybe I do got it mixed up. But he just reminds me of Benjamin Buttons for some reason. I don't know why.
New nickname there too. We got all the nicknames cranking out tonight.
Francisco Benjamin Buttons Trinaldo, right? He's a beast. And I don't like picking against Jim Miller.
In English.
What's
Benjamin
up?
Button.
Yeah.
His nickname is Master and Duba. I think that means Benjamin Button in English.
But you guys see Jim Miller beating Francisco Trinaldo?
I feel like I'm going to be unpopular in saying this, but I do. I think for some reason, I just have it in my heart that I can't pick against Jim Miller. I think his experience will come into play. And I feel like also he's one of these guys I always count out, like, and every time he proves me wrong. So while I do think he's not where he once was, I think this is a very good matchup. I think it'll be a close fight, but I think that I'm going to pick Jim by decision. Very close decision.
What's up, Tone?
I would go Jim Miller just because of, I don't know if Ronaldo's gonna be able to stop, his takedowns. Jim's very smart about knowing when to get those to win rounds. He hasn't really been able to do a good job keeping guys down recently, but I mean, it still scores points on the judges' scorecards. I definitely think this is a fight that's going the distance. Jim's a very tough guy, solid chin, and just is not gonna get phased by a first round flurry from Trinaldo. But yeah, these are two really. This is like the AARP fight of the night because you got like a 30. I think Jim Miller looks like he's damn near 40, and then the other guy really is damn near 40. So yeah, you got dads fighting.
You're right. He is 39 years old. And but the crazy thing about Trinaldo is that he's only lost to two guys in the he's only lost to three guys, but two of the three guys are Michael Chiesa and Kevin Lee. That's who he's lost to. He's murked everybody else.
In the Kevin Lee fight, he was dominating that fight. He kind of made a mistake there and ended up getting choked out, but he was taking it to Kevin. And that was, I think, Trinaldo's last fight, actually.
Yeah, it was his last fight. He knocked out Paul Felder. He beat Yancy Medeiros. He beat Ross Pearson, Chad Laprise, Norman Park, Leandro Silva. Dude, he's beat some big names, man. Like, it's no joke. And
really under the radar.
Yeah, under the radar. And Jim Miller, he's too old, man. He's not too old, but he's
the other guy's older.
Yeah, the other guy's older, but I think Jim Miller just has too much wear and tear. And Trinaldo is fighting at home. He's fighting at home. I think Trinaldo knocks Jim Miller out. Round 2.
I could see it.
Clean. Like Jim Miller, he's good still. Like you just said earlier, he's not what he used to be. But I think for the rest of his career, he's just going to be doing the back and forth, like winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one, and kind of continuing his path through the UFC, which is a true gatekeeper status. But I love Jim Miller. You know what I mean? Who hates Jim Miller? Come on. He's a guy that goes out there and just does. Hey, Jim Miller's most famous moment for me is when he was getting choked out and he was biting on his tongue. You remember that?
Yeah, what fight was that?
I think that was Nate Diaz.
I think you're right. Yeah,
That was a crazy moment where he had his tongue. He was getting choked out. He had his tongue and he was biting on his tongue. That always is like imprinted in my mind about Jim Miller. So I can't hate Jim Miller. He went through the wars. So you guys taking Jim Miller?
I'm leaning Miller. Yep, close, but yep, that's who I'm going with.
Yeah.
You got Miller?
Yeah. I'm like, I might be multitasking right now.
I know you are. You're like, it's like at the end, huh? It's fourth quarter.
Yeah, there's 4.5 seconds left in overtime. So.
Oh damn! All right, the next fight.
This team is a terrible team. It's habit, I guess.
Hey, my team is the Lakers too. If I had a basketball team, that's my team.
All the Asians are Lakers fans.
Damn, this motherfucker threw in the race card right there.
I'm surprised you guys let me in here.
Huh?
Being a Celtics fan. I said I'm surprised you guys let me in here being a Celtics fan, but
Celtics got screwed this year, man. On the first game of the season.
Tell me about it, dude. Anyways,
that's just bad luck.
Let's get off this.
Yeah.
Silva's leg.
All right, now, well, there's another fight on the main card is Rob Font versus Pedro Munhoz. Now, Rob Font is a guy that he's been under the radar for a long time too. He's had some big wins, impressive outings. I don't really know much about this Pedro guy.
He's he deserves to get this fight. I think they're both. Is Rob Font ranked now?
He is. Yep, I believe he's 15. I think Munoz is 13.
Okay, so yeah, I mean they're both. This is a good matchup. He's coming off a win over Damian Stasiak, who obviously just fought on that Poland card and had a win over Scoggins as well. And he's on a nice little 3-fight winning streak. And his only loss before that was a split to Jimmy Rivera, who's at the top of that division for sure. I believe he's top 5. So yeah, I think it's good matchmaking. Rob Font always puts on fucking exciting fights. Solid fighter, a lot of potential for sure. Could be a future title contender. But this might be his coming out party. We'll have to see.
Yeah, this is the fight he called for actually after his last win in UFC 213 against De Andrade. He called him out on the mic. Got the fight. I think it's a good matchup. Both fighters kind of, like we said, fly under the radar a little bit. Guys that are both on the come up. I think Rob Font, his fluidity in his game and his well-roundedness is really starting to show. If he could be a little bit more active, I think that, I think he'd be even further progressed if he had stayed healthy. There was a couple of big injuries there, a couple solid layoffs. So I think finally having this step up in competition is going to be good for him. And Munoz is a guy that he's a really smart fighter, like the Scoggins fight you just referenced. He capitalized on one small mistake. He was losing the fight and choked out Scoggins. And I think this is a great fight. I think I'm going to go with Rob Font. I think it'll be a decision win. I think this is another fight of the night contender. What do you guys think? You going with Font or you going with Munoz?
Fuck. Font, he's on a 2-fight winning streak. He's finished both guys. He knocked out Matt Schnell, the Ultimate Fighter dude. The last fight he lost was a unanimous decision against John Lineker.
And that was only in his 3rd UFC fight, so that was kind of an impressive feat in my opinion. It
is. I'm gonna have to go with Munoz. I'm leaning. It's a very similar. I look at them as very similar. One of them is ranked like number 17 in the world. Rob Font's ranked number 20 in the world. Rankings don't mean shit, but I'm just mentioning that. So I'm going with Munoz. I think Munoz gets the decision over Font. I think he stays out of trouble and kind of just grinds it out in his home country of Brazil.
I like that.
What are you, Tom?
Rob Font.
The Lakers lose or no?
No, we won.
Okay.
All right, now let's get to the meat of it, right? The meat is the co-main and the main event. We got Colby Covington versus Damian Maia. Now, the first thing I want to say about Colby Covington is that Colby Covington, to me, can become Ben Askren of the UFC. What Ben Askren was, Colby Covington kind of could become that if he elevates himself. And this is the test, I think. Like his last fight wasn't really the test. I think this fight is the test to see if he can become that level of a fighter against Maia. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think this is a big step up from Dong Kim. I think that Tarek Safadine, right? Isn't that who we fought last?
No, Dong Kim.
Was it Kim? Okay, he fought Kim. I got that whole Singapore card. I missed it, and then now I'm all confused. But Dos Anjos fought Safadine on that card. Right.
Yeah.
So Covington, I think this is obviously Damian Maia is a big step up from Dong Kim, and it'll be interesting to see a guy that most people don't want to go on the ground with, and Covington might want to take it there. So I think his striking is going to have to really come through in this fight, and if he wants to win it, you'll see a theme with me. I kind of tend to lean towards the veteran guys that have been proven versus guys that haven't really been tested. So I'm going to lean with Maia in this fight. I know he's an underdog right now. There's a lot of money coming in on Colby Covington. But I just think Damian Maia is just, in addition to being a veteran, he's just the trickiest puzzle to figure out in any division. So I'm just going to lean with Maia. But if Covington beat him, man, it wouldn't shock me. And the welterweight division getting another, guy that's not, I think Colby's kind of a little bit older, but he's young in the sport, and he's another one to throw in there with Till, Usman, and Mike Perry on the come up.
Fresh face.
For sure. Can always use those, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know how Covington is approaching this game. I mean, if he's I don't know. I'm basketball. This fight, if he comes in, because I mean, I feel like he has the wrestling and the grappling defense to the point. I mean, let's be honest, Masvidal's takedowns are terrible. I've been saying this forever. His takedowns are bad. He relies on just getting a hook in and getting a hold of you and getting to your back and utilizing his jiu-jitsu that way, and not the more traditional takedowns. I don't think he's going to be able to get Covington down. So if Covington decides to turn it into a striking fight, then there's a whole other set of questions. Like, and I don't know how he's approaching this fight. If that's how he does, then wild card. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen. If he decides to take Maia down, I do feel like he can control the fight, but he can also get caught really easily, like everybody else does, and get subbed. And I do think that the 3 rounds plays into Maia's hands, because he just doesn't really have the gas tank to go 5. He never has. I don't think he ever will. And so this shorter fight definitely benefits him, where he can, he doesn't have to. He's not going to tire out. Basically, he's going to either get the finish or he's going to lose the decision. I feel like those are 2 options.
Well, size is a factor too, because Maia is got to be much bigger than Colby Covington. Is he though? I would think. Like he used to fight at 185, and it was not like he was a small 185er either. When he was
that was one thing I was surprised about with the Woodley fight. I couldn't believe how much bigger Maia was, height-wise, and kind of obviously Woodley's a stocky guy, but Maia did have a lot more bulk on him than I had remembered.
Well, you have to remember Tyron Woodley is one of the smaller. Well, I mean, he's 5'9".
Yeah.
Colby Covington 5'11", 72-inch reach. Not definitely going to be a little bit bigger than Tyron Woodley, and Damian Maia clocking in at 6'1" and 72-inch reach. So yeah, he does a little bit of height on him.
Well, the Maia has 2 options, right? Like Covington, his options. His options, right? Like, this is what he's gonna do. He does what he does. Maia, I think that he learned from the Woodley fight, and he's kind of taking on a similar type of fighter where their base is wrestling, but Woodley's different because Woodley has that power in the striking. Colby Covington's not as polished as Woodley is. I think Maia could pull guard, or he could just let him take him down, and then Maia's preparation for this fight could be just working off his back and kind of, finding angles, like you said earlier, getting to the back, or even going for triangles and arm bars and all that shit. And then there's another question is, has Colby Covington been practicing, submission escapes? Like, what is his plan? Is he gonna not go for the takedown and take that risk and stand with Maia? If he does, I think Maia beats him in a boring ass decision where Maia just sits there and just does his little fucking terrible ass Willy Wonka fucking boxing and shit.
I don't know if we've seen. I don't see. That's where the wild card comes in for me, because I don't think we've seen enough of Covington's stand up to know where it's at. And we've seen enough of Maia to know that his striking is just meant to set up, his grappling. It's not really. Despite Joe Rogan trying to make it seem like he's the second coming of Floyd Mayweather, he's not. No offense to Joe Rogan.
Well, if it goes to the feet, who do you think wins it? Like, if they stand there and like box with each other, because they're both not really kickers, right? So, what do you think?
We haven't seen Covington's. If no one's seen Covington's stand up, then he should sound off, because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the only times that I can really remember him using it was when he was fighting like vastly inferior opponents. When he fought Max Griffin a couple of years ago, I think it was a little bit more stand up than I was expecting. At the same time, like you said, 95% of his fights, the time of his fights has ended up it's been on the ground. So maybe I'd lean Covington a little bit for now. Just kind of, that's more of a guess, kind of just throwing it out there than an assertion. But yeah, it beats me, honestly.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think
Maia. I don't know.
In my opinion, Maia has better stand-up than Covington. Like you said, we haven't seen enough of Covington's stand-up, but there's a reason why we haven't seen enough, because he sucks, right? He's just terrible. He's trash, right? He's garbage, like the French say. That's why his stand-up is kind of like, kind of like Maia. It's just like he uses it to kind of get into the clinch and get down and put them on their back, right? Maia, he has a little bit more experience. He's been in the cage with a lot better strikers, a lot better fighters, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Covington goes in there and slams Maia on his back and just grounds and pounds him for 3 rounds either, and kind of stays out of the submission game.
Can we really know what he does, ground and pound?
Well, ground and pound as in his ground and pound. I'm not talking about like Tito Ortiz ground and pound, right? But you never know. He might get him against the fence, and like get him in the guard and just pound him out like that. Or, do those little baby hammers. Who knows?
I mean, he's no Hermanson.
Exactly.
I mean, Hermanson will finish you when he gets you to the ground with ground and pound, but Covington's more of God, I really hope he doesn't win. It's gonna be so. He's actually, he started out the favorite, and he's actually the money's coming in on him hardcore.
Yeah.
And he should be a pretty sizable favorite by the time fight night rolls around. But God, he's just so corny. I don't know if I can deal with it, man.
I think this fight has a chance. It's intriguing for us, but I think it has a chance to be a fucking snore fest, to be honest with you.
Really? Yeah.
Like, terrible. Like, at the end, you're like, that was one of the fucking worst fights from top 10 fucking competition that I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Booing their asses off.
Exactly. They're booing Maia. They're booing Maia.
If Maia loses the decision,
no, Maia will win, and they're boo Maia. That's how bad it would be in Brazil. So who do you think at the end of the day, you gotta throw down some cash? Who you take?
I'm gonna say Damian Maia by decision.
Covington by decision.
I'm going to say Maia by submission. I think he does the same thing that he did to Neil Magny. He gets to the back somehow, some way, and just fucking gets there and chokes out Colby Covington. And Colby Covington's been choked out before. That's his only loss. By who? Another Brazilian. What's his name? Warley Alves. That's my dog, Warley Alves. That's my dog.
Last time. Yeah, you're right.
And he won last week, actually, Warley Alves.
He did.
Yeah.
He
did.
Very promising guy.
All right, let's go to the last one. Derek Brunson versus Lyoto Machida. Now, before we start talking about these two, I want to talk about Brunson. He came out and said that Anderson Silva was greasing, and he hopes Lyoto Machida doesn't grease. What do you guys think about that?
What?
I
Yeah,
have
you didn't see that?
little to no thoughts.
Well, I don't think. I mean, there's literally nothing Brunson could have done in the Silva fight to win. I felt like because apparently the judges were just going to give it to Silva no matter what. But I just don't. I don't know where that's really coming from. I mean, all these guys grease and kind of trick the rules a little bit. They'll do crazy shit like bathe in Vaseline the night before, or put stuff in their hair. Like everybody does that. To complain about that, is like complaining about stealing signs in baseball or something. Like it just makes it look bad.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're coming out with it now. I feel like it's just kind of. I don't like excuses anyway, but it's just kind of an odd. Like, what do you want people to do about it?
True.
You should have won the fight anyway. Like, everybody knows that, and just move on to Machida, I guess.
My biggest question is, what Brunson are we gonna see? He's horrible fight IQ Brunson, with his chin in the air, like with a big arrow pointing to his chin, like knock me out, or are we gonna see the very cautious guy we saw against Anderson Silva? Because
he's such a wild card, and that's why this is such a weird fight for me. I mean, Machida has always got that wild card factor where, again, just a guy with a really weird style. Just, it's not as much as about him. People say, oh, like, I don't know what's going to happen because his style is weird. I don't necessarily look at it that way. I look at it, I don't know what the opponent's going to do. I don't know how the opponent's going to take it. So the fact that you've got Derek Brunson, who's unpredictable to begin with, going against a guy like Lyoto Machida, this is probably one of my tougher fights on the card to figure out what happened. And, you throw the layoff in there, Machida's long layoff.
He's been out since June of 2012.
Yeah,
it's almost 2.5 years.
Fuck.
Insane. But I do know that he has his gym in LA, and he's been helping his brother, his older but littler brother, who's been fighting in Bellator. He's been helping him train for his fights over there. Obviously he has the gym, so he's using that, every day, teaching classes and whatnot. So it's not like he's just like sitting around on the couch, like watching TV and drinking his like daily piss, So see, you had my joke before I even said it. But like, he's been active, and who knows? Like, ring rust is just one of those like weird terms that people use. That like guys like Cruz say it's complete bullshit, and then other guys you can just see it written all over them. Like you can just tell that they're fucking rusty. Machida, though, I mean, he's got that. His whole life has just been about karate. So I feel like if anyone has a chance of not falling victim to ring rust, to be like someone like that whose whole life has just been centered around martial arts and specifically like karate.
Well, it's to me, I think Brunson, like you said earlier, Brunson is gonna be both these guys. It's like what's gonna show up? Which Brunson's showing up? Which Machida's gonna show up? Machida's been out since like 2.5 years or whatever. Brunson is like, sometimes he comes out a bat out of hell, like in the Yoel Romero fight. That was fucking crazy, like how he fought Yoel. And Machida looked like shit against Yoel, right? So are
we doing MMA math?
Yeah, we're doing, MMA math by Asian, right? So I don't know, man. Like this one is it's a big toss up to me. Machida, he's getting up there in age, right? And he seems like when he fights now, it's not really the same style like where he was taking a little bit more risk. He was never a big risk taker, but he took a little bit more risk earlier in his career, which allowed him to be more exciting and become the champion and stuff like that. Now it doesn't seem like that anymore, unless he's fighting a guy that he knows that he could take out real easily. And Brunson is not that type of guy. He's not the type of guy where Machida can think like he's going to beat him, especially when he's been out for 2.5 years. Brunson has the wrestling. I think Brunson goes in there. If he's smart, he's not going to sit there and try to stand and bang with him.
That's a big if.
Huh? Yeah, and that's a big if, like you said. he goes in there, he takes him down, and he works the ground. That's it. It might be boring, but he needs to win, because if he doesn't win, he's going to get shot out that, title picture real quick. He needs it. He needs this. Yeah. He needs this win more than Machida needs this win. Machida has already, emblazoned his legacy in the UFC, right? So him fighting again, to me, I thought he should have just retired, Machida. I didn't think that he needed to come back.
I mean, shit, his brother's older than him, and he's still fighting. But, yeah, I mean, if we see that bat out of hell, Brunson, I think he gets flatlined. I mean, that's just going to play right into Machida's hands with the counter-striking. And I would think that his camp would know that and tell him that, but I don't have any faith in him following his game plan, So,
and I mean, the template's been laid for that. We saw that with an over-aggressive wrestler in Bader when Machida KO'd him. It was Bader came out, I think it was first round, came out very, slow, kind of, stalking. And then the second round, he came out and tried to blitz Machida and got KO'd real quick. So if Brunson's been watching that tape, he might see that. And but like you said, I don't know. I trust Greg Jackson, and I'm sure in the Robert Whittaker fight, and in some of the other fights where Brunson kind of threw his IQ out the window, I guarantee you that was not what his coaches were telling him to do. So we'll see what happens, man.
Who's your pick? Tone.
My pick is I'm gonna go with Lyoto Machida. Round 4 KO.
What's up, Tone?
Same. Yeah, I was gonna say that before, so yeah.
I'm gonna say Derek Brunson.
You just had to do
it. KO. Second round. I'm just gonna go against you, motherfuckers, because you know why? Because whenever I bet with people or I just make predictions, I just like to go against everybody, even though it doesn't make any sense. So I'm just gonna go with Brunson. To me, it's a toss-up. Because there's a lot of factors in this fight. Just like the Maya and the Covington fight, a lot of factors. It's a toss-up. All right. Well, it's been good. MMA today for tomorrow. It's over. Big Tone, MMA King.
Oh, shout out, shameless plug real quick. That fight we just talked about, Machida Brunson, Kevin Wilson on MMAtoday.com did a beautiful breakdown of Lyoto's style and just basically his whole career with 50 million GIFs in there, or GIFs, or however you like to say that word. So check that out.
For real, check it out. Go to.
I love all his breakdowns, and I'm sure that this one's just as good.
He's awesome. Very Jack Black style with it.
Big time.
Go to MMAtoday.com. Go to MMA Today on Facebook. Go to Twitter. Follow that shit.
At MMA Today News.
Support the Cleveland, support the Cleveland Indians of the MMA world. We're like the Cleveland Indians from Major League. You know what I mean? We're just like the misfits of the media. You know what I mean? We doing our shit. We're going to take over. But it's going to take some time. It's all good.
The Detroit Bad Boys.
Detroit Bad Boys, whatever. You know what I mean? We're coming up, and when we do come up, we're going to smack you in the face. Right? So, MMA King, Nolan, Big Tone, it was good. I'll get at you guys later.